Hello, new little project. So I said a while ago I was going to make Willow a new winter coat out of my old coat, which the lining's gone in, so it's no good for charity shop. So this is the coat. This is my coat. This is Willow's coat. So this is what I'm going to use as a stencil to draw around. Now this is a little bit snug on Willow at the moment, so I'm going to make it slightly bigger. Bearing in mind I've got a hem to do as well, so I've just got to manipulate this about a bit. But I was hoping to try and keep a pocket to put her little poo bags and treats in, but I'm not quite sure how well that's going to work. So I've just sort of been moving it around, making sure I have got a hem and a little bit of extra space just to give her a bit more room. See if I can get that pocket. That looks okay. So that pocket would be about there. That pocket's a bit deep, so I would have to shorten the pocket, but that's okay as long as I can get some poo bags in there. I think that'll look quite smart. So this is the main shape of Willow, the Whippet. So she has a back that arches downwards, and she has a slim waist and a big chest. So a lot of dog coats, they go fairly straight across, but with Willow we need to create a curve. The girl's got curves like her mum. I'm a little bit croaky this week, sorry about that. There won't be a snud. I'm going to do a posh collar, so I'm going to keep this collar and see if I can adapt it to fit, and also put a nice button on the collar at the front, and then when I do the straps, just for sure, because there'll be Velcro straps, I'll put a button on just to make it look pretty. So I think I'm near enough there with the positioning of it, just making sure I've got enough hem there as well. I have to just snitch that up a bit, give me a bit of extra room. Don't want to get it wrong. Alright, do a little bit further, as much as I can. Yeah, that looks okay. Pocket there. Yep. Okay, I'm going for it. Okay, cut round it. Does need a good tidy up. So there's the pocket. That's the inner lining of the pocket, so I've got to cut that round and then basically tidy it up so the pocket will just be a small little pouch like that. And there. Then there's a seam here, you can't see it on that side though, it's there. And this bit near the neck will need to be shaped, so I'll have to do that properly as well. But so far I just need to tidy up a little bit on the back, take that off, and other bits as well, tidy that up. There we go. Alright, I'll get on with it. So I've cut the collar off, and just for testing it for size, I've got the middle bit at the top there, scooping it round, and then what I'll do here, I think, is I'll put a buttonhole in, and then the button on that side, so that will fasten, and then this all here, that will join on to the main part of this. So I just need to cut another one of these out and tidy this up, obviously. So one thing to remember is when you cut, I'm using this now as my template, this one, is to remember that it's going to be on the other side of the coat. So you would turn this template upside down. Well, not upside down, you turn it the other way around, so you've got this side looking at you. So easiest way now to do this is to line up the pockets. If I line up the pockets, I know that my template is gonna fit, and I'll get it just right, like that. Keep that out the way. Yep, all nice and flat. And then cut this piece out. And there we go. So what I need to do first, you can see now how, you know, I'll be sewing these together, and then at this, by the time those are sewed together, they'll form a curve that'll neatly go over the arch on her back and hopefully just finish at a bum or at a tail. But what I need to do is tack it and then put it over where I would hem it, then put it over Willow and just get an idea of fit. I'd rather it be a little bit loose, and I've also got to line it. Now, lining like that isn't good for dogs because it causes static and sweat and should be really uncomfortable. So for a lining, you want a really nice, I don't need a fleece like that because this is warm enough. It's nice thick material, but I need a nice soft cotton. And I've got some old duvet covers, bedding, some really nice cotton, soft cotton. So I'm going to cut those up, make some templates, and then I've got some nice lining. So for the straps, those are going to come from the rest of the coat. This back strip, nice long back strip there. So I'm going to cut those out as a template as well, and line those as well so they're secure. This fabric frays quite easily at the edges. This is fine, keeps it together, but I don't want to lose too much, so I'll probably just lightly overlock this just to keep it secure before I do anything, and then I'm not losing fluff like this, losing fluff everywhere. I'll have to have a good hoover. Okay, that's where I'm up to. Alright, so this is the strap. So I'm having to think about this because it'll look wide at the minute, but I've cut it too big. Because obviously you've got to hem, you've got to bag it so it'll all be inside out and all of that. So it will end up, you know, a lot thinner, narrower. So this this particular cloth, it's actually a bed sheet. It's lovely and soft. It doesn't really need to be on the strap. I could either double up on that, but it'd probably make it a little bit too thick, or I could have a look at some pretty cottons that I've got, because that one, you can see it looks quite pretty. You don't see much of it, but it's just sort of a little finishing touch. Whereas with her coat pieces, I really do want that nice, lovely, soft cotton on her. It's not on her skin, but well, nearly on her skin, because her belly's bare. She's got a bare belly. Actually, the bit where the strap goes under, that might be quite nice. It won't be tight on her. But I mean, I've got some soft cotton that's pretty that I could use if I want to. So I'm just going to have a think about that. That's what I'm trying to say after much waffling. But other than that, I've got all of my pieces cut out. My coat pieces. They've still got to be amended. Got my lining cut out. And I've got the collar to sort as well. This will take a bit of doing. I'm going to try and keep that unless it's going to irritate her, but I would like to keep that, and then I can actually hang her coat up, but I'll have a think. But anyway, we're getting there. I've got to plan how I'm putting it together, because it has to be done inside out. With it having a lining, you got to do it inside out and leave a gap to then pull it all through the right way. It takes a little bit of doing and thinking through. And I've got to fix the pockets, so I've got to stitch those up. So she's got her little pockets for treats and poo bags. I'm happy so far. A lot of tweaking to do, but that's the basics cut out, so I know I've got enough material to do what I need to do, and more left over, to be honest. So next step, I'm going to temporarily tack it together at the back, across sort of the back end, and then go and flop it on Willow and see how it fits. I do want it to be loose and but not baggy, as I've, you know, she's got to be comfortable with it, but I don't want it falling and swishing and flopping around on her. So temporary tack, see that it fits, and then I can start to tweak it a little bit better. So next up, I'm going to just do a temporary little tack across here. Like I said, I'm making it a bit bigger so it looks like it's a little bit huge, but I'd rather start big and then trim it down to size once we tried it on. She's looking at me as if to say, I'm not wearing it, Mama. It's pink, Mama. So yeah, I'm gonna do that down there, pop it on her, and just see how it falls. So I've tacked that bit there and then there, obviously leaving room for her head and the collar. And I'm not sure she's gonna want to try it on, but we'll give it a go. Oh baby, are you excited about your new coat? She no, Mama, it's pink. Hang on, don't wander off. Willow, here.
Ah, what have you got on?
Willow, come on. This way.
You've got pockets, Willow.
Willow, come here. Come on, I need to do a fitting. Come here. I'm not wearing it, Mama. It's going to be a best coat. All right, so we can see here at the back. Hang on, I know. At the back. Get it off me. Get it off me. Oh, this isn't going to work tonight, is it? Eh? No. Got Mr. Moo Cow. I don't know. Said no, I'm not wearing it. Come on, let's have a look at you. Let's see. What's it look like? It's not a blanket, Willow. Got lovely little pockets. You'll have a collar attached here. Look ever so pretty. So anyway, what I've noticed, it's quite long over her bum, and you need it to finish just above the tail. Just going to rip all the stitches out now. So I need there's going to be a lot of fittings and a lot of amendments, but we'll get there. I know. So expecting Willow to model something. Let's get those out of the way. And sit still. That's impossible, isn't it? Well, stand still. So that was a no, wasn't it, Willow? But I've got a good idea now. It needs pulling up at the bum bit. I know, bum scratch. Bum scratch. Oh, she likes that, doesn't she? She likes a bum scratch. Yeah. Yeah. I've got your belly. I've got your belly. I've got your belly, Willow. I have. I've got your belly. You see, she's bare-bellied. She's got a bald belly. Anyway, I think that's enough for you, isn't it? Do you want your last walk? Shall we go for your last walk? What do you think? Eh? Ada boop. Boop boop. Good girl. Alright, so that went well. That went well. So what I've done, that's got the hem allowance tacked in, so I'm close to the top but not fully, because I do want this to give a little bit of extra space for Willow. This coat, it's snug, it fits but it's snug. And then I need a little bit of, that's all going to be completely trimmed to size because the collar's going to go on it, so that's a different area, but again close to the tacked in but not to the edge. I know it's too long here, so that doesn't affect the fit, and I've got extra room at the top, so I can give it a good trim here for the proper hem allowance all going under, because I know the length is going to be good there. And I know that the tail was a little bit too far, although I did shift it along. It was hanging because she was trying to get out of it. So it's not too far off. It looked it, but it's not. So I just need to trim that round. So I'm getting there. It will be a little case of trim it, try it, trim it, try it, until I'm at the point where I can sort out the lining and start putting it together. I'm just marking where the collar line is, and I've done the same by folding that back best as I can, following it round, and then doing the seam allowance. So I'm going to chop that bit off, and that will help me to fit the collar. Just a little quick show of the collar. So what I've done, using the hoop as a midpoint, just on this, put it there in the middle, folded it over just to see how it's going to fit. So it will go to there. And whether I keep this extra bit or not, I don't know. It can just end there and just be a pretty collar, or I can have this little extra panel that would act as a button, or I can take that off and just have a button on here for sure. I'm not sure yet. See what it turns out like. Obviously you wouldn't have all of this under here, that's just spare fabric at the moment. But that's kind of the look of the coat, if you can imagine it. Pocket, collar, and the bum's there, and a tail, waggy tail coming out of there. Complaining that she has to wear a pink coat. So, as my model has gone to bed, the only thing I can do at the moment is the strap, because I know the measurement of that. So what I've done, I'm sticking with this lining. Lining goes to the top of the fabric because we're going to turn it inside out. So when we stitch it, it'll be nice and tidy. So I pinned it first. I've done a general line of where I'm going to stitch, but I've pinned it loose. So I've not pulled it taut. I've sort of like pinned it nice and loose and padded. And I'll keep the same with the stitching, because what you don't want if you pull it tight is to find that when you pull it inside out, it curls. So you could end up with it being too tight on the inside and it curls up on the outside. Don't want that. So leaving lots of nice little bit of baggy space for it to relax. I'd rather the lining be a little bit baggy, because then that'll be on the inside, you won't see it, than tight and it pull the fabric on the outside, which will make it look really untidy. Strap, yay. So I'm going to trim all of this to keep it so it's not real thick and bulky, because I'm going to turn this inside out. Sew up one end, and then there'll be a gap at the other for me to turn it inside out, and then I'll stitch it as a top stitch, but keeping this inside. I'm going to top stitch all of it all the way around. I should have said that, but yeah, I'll trim it first. Okay, turned it inside out, unbagged it. I just need to iron it nice and flat, and then that stitched that end. This is how I bagged it. So I turned it inside out, basically, when I say bagged it. Just a term of reference. So stitch that up, top stitch, but the top stitch is actually going to follow all the way around the outside. Keep it nice and flat, and then there'll be some extra lines on the strap stitched in that keep it really, really lovely and flat and neat and tidy. And yeah, that'll be my strap. I've just been having a look to see if I've got any Velcro, and I don't think I have. So got my strap done. I was sure I had some Velcro. I was sure of it. Can't find it. But anyway, I'll have a good search for it. I've still got some storage boxes. If I can't find it, I'll order some more. But anyway, this is the strap that will go around the coat and fasten it with Velcro. Will I put, I don't think I'll put a false button on. I think it'll be a bit too much. But as long as it fastens over. This is slightly longer than the one she's currently got, because that was a little bit snug. Not that I'm saying she's put on weight, like we all do. But yeah, that's that bit done. So I'm really pleased with that. I can put that to one side now and concentrate on the rest of the coat. Now the lining for these, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. If I was to decide to take my lining piece and line each one separately and then join these together, giving room, I'm going to use this next space for bagging out and turning it the right way out. If there's an issue between this piece and that piece, you'll end up with some baggy bits or tight bits that you just cannot fit together. So for me, the way I prefer to do it, like I'm all knowledgeable and stuff, is I'm going to join these two pieces first, get those right, because I've still got a lot of measuring to do with Willow, get it right. So once these are right, the lining pieces are bigger anyway, well, to fit this, and I know that this is big. So then once I've put these two together, got it exactly how I want it to be, then put the lining on for the both of them. Whoops. Then if there is any amendments to make, I can make it there, and I won't end up turning it inside out or right way out and finding that I can't iron it into place, or it's too tight in areas, or it just doesn't fit. I think it's just one piece. It's going to be far easier to make the lining fit overall. So that's the way I'm doing it anyway. So that is, for me, going to be the next stitch line there. I'm showing it on the right side, but of course they're going to be on the wrong side, so I'll be turning them the other way. Oops. Get that right, hang on. There you go. Right sides together, they're going to be stitched across the top of the back. Just a little bit of tacking in there, and that'll help me to decide better on the fit. If I can get Willow to play the game and stand still, which is unlikely, but we'll give it a go. I had to turn the light on. It's quite a dark, rainy day today, so I'm back to it in my sewing project. Had a couple of days off. I've sewn the top, sorry, I've sewn the two sides together, so we've got just one piece now. I've tried it on her. It fits. It might be a little bit big, but I'll know better when I've done the lining, because it's still got a hem yet. I'm going to try and take out some of the bulk on the seams, like here. It's going to be quite thick and bulky, and I don't want it to be uncomfortable. And then there's a few sort of extra bits here to trim off. The pockets will naturally get, stitched up when I attach the lining, which is over there. So I'll try and get the lining done today. I've got work to do, but it'd be good if I could get it on Willow and check it for size properly. And Willow is currently enjoying her dental chew. That's her daily dental chew. I don't know how she's going to feel about going for a walk this morning, because it's pretty awful out there. Oh, the sun's come out again. That's lovely. Okay, so I've gone seam to seam. So these are right sides together here, because I'm going to turn it inside out. So I've pinned the seam across, and then pinned this, I've got to pin the other side, and then I'm going to tack stitch it. So this, at the moment, the lining is a lot bigger, and that's because I want to make sure that I get it right before I stitch it. So if I do need to trim any, I can do. Don't want it to be baggy, don't want it to be too tight. If it's not, just so the coat won't hang properly, and it's because of this bulky bit here that I've got to be really careful that I've got enough lining fabric. So once I've tack stitched it, then I'll turn it inside out, and then I'll just press it, make sure that it's as it should be. Try it on Willow, turn it back inside out, and then stitch it properly. Okay, I can take the pins out. I've tacked everything except for the bit where the collar's going to go, because I want to put the collar on before I finally sew up the lining. I think it'll just look a little bit neater, but I'm going to take all the pins out, give it a little test run, see what it looks like. I'm feeling quite confident about this. Surprisingly, seems to be going quite well. To keep the lining where it should be, I pinned it again, because I will do what's called stitch in the ditch, just to keep everything in place. It's very roughly done at the moment, but it is taking shape, so it's going good. Willow's gone to bed, so I can't try it on her, but I'm happy with that. So I'll leave that now for now, and then I can attach the collar. Once I know this is the body and this fits her quite nicely, I shall put the collar on, get that attached, and then turn it back the other way, do some proper stitches, trim all this excess lining, and yeah, we're moving on. It's looking good, it's looking good. I'm quite happy. Oh, okay. Properly stitched it all the way around. I think I should top stitch it really. I'm not quite sure how well this will top stitch, but to keep it neat, it does really need top stitching down. I'll have a think about that. I might do a little test run on some other fabric and see what it looks like. The collar, I might have to make an adjustment here. I've pinned it. All of this is coming off. This is just extra fabric. This is all bulk. That's all going to come off. And it'll be attached to the lining as well. So the lining will cover that bit there. The bit I'm probably going to have to adjust is these bits here at the end. And the reason for that is they don't quite match up with the coat. The idea is that they would go around and join each other with a button, but because of this collar and the way that that goes like that, when you turn it that way, it goes up, so it would go up into Willow's chin rather than, I mean, I could cut it straight and fix it, but to be honest, I think what I'll do to keep it simple is just take all of this bit off and just have that collar, because that's enough. and then these will fasten at the front because there's loads of room. You don't actually need these flappy bits. It'll attach without them. So that's what I'm thinking. I haven't had any more time to do anything with it. It's just a kind of a bit of a jumping project when I've got 5 spare minutes, which isn't much. It doesn't happen very often. So, but yeah, that's where I'm up to with that. The project continues. I've tacked this on. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to sew it so that then I can trim all of this off before I start attaching this to the lining, which I think I'm going to do inside out as it is. So what will happen, I'll stitch this on, and then this lining will be attached that way, and then leave a little gap, turn it inside out. I'll explain that much better when I do it. So you see there, this is where I'm stitching, just right in the fold line there at the collar. I want to keep this so I can actually hang a coat up. Yes, so that goes through and attaches it to the actual coat. Right, so I've turned it the right way now, so it's the right way, it's not inside out. So you've got to imagine collar's now on, and the lining is going to encase all of this once it's trimmed. I might put it through the overlocker to keep it really nice and tight and tidy, and then this lining will encase it by being attached there like that. So turning this back the other way, you got to remember that the right side of this nice neat right side is going to attach to that scruffy bit there. So I've just done half of it just to check it, make sure it's all working as it should. Caught a little bit there, but not too worried about that. Gone a little bit straggly there, but I can soon nip that back in, not that it matters that much. And then I don't think the end hole gap there is going to be enough to pull all of it through. I think I'll really struggle, so I might have to rethink that and leave a bigger gap. It'll just take a little bit of jiggery pokery stitching this on properly at that side. Sorry, I'm not very good at this, am I? One-handed. But we're getting there, we're nearly there. Ooh, project nearly complete. So, collar's on. It's not as tidy as I would have liked it, but so the collar, I've just kept that so I can hang it up. So that's with the collar back. Pocket either side, and then if it's cold on the back of a neck, this can fold forward and just cover that lovely long neck of hers. These are going to be joined and have a fake button. So I was gonna do a panel and button them, actually have a button, but it's so much easier just because there's loads of room there just to slip it over her head and then strap around her tummy rather than faffing around with buttons at the front. So I'm going to join those together, put a fake button on so it looks like it's got a button. I forgot to order my Velcro, so I need to get that. So this will strap around the narrowest part of her waist, which will be there, so it'll literally tuck around her and hold the coat on like that. That is Willow's coat. So I've got to wait for the Velcro, and then once that's done I shall get our lovely model to pose for us and show you what it looks like. Well, I was hoping to get it finished today, but the Velcro hasn't arrived. My fault. Anyway, I'm doing the last bit, which is the panel. So I have a slight little issue here in that one end is just a teeny bit longer than the other. So to tidy that up, I'm making a little panel that's just going to sit and then merge them together. Just join them together anyway. And then I'll put the fake button on. I might put 2 buttons on, I don't know. See what it looks like once I get it done. So this is, I'm just making this little panel for the front to fasten it all together. So not very big. I'm going to sew it across, and then I'm just going to whip the ends through the overlocker just to tidy them up and cut off any excess, and then do the same on there and that side, and then attach it. I'm just wanting to get them in the right place and then zigzag them together so it's held where it should be. It's just quite a large zigzag. Nothing other than to just hold them in place, really. There we go. There we go. Nothing to write home about, just a quick zigzag. It's just holding it. It's too cute. That's so cute. That's far too cute. I could have done with a little name tag in there that says Willow. Okay, it's just the strap now. It's just the Velcro, waiting for the Velcro for the strap, and then Willow has a brand new winter coat. Very posh one. Oh my god, I had a good rummage and I found just a tiny little bit left, and it's enough. So I've separated them. I've got the fluffy, what I call the soft and fluffy, and the spiky, it's the rough bit. So I'm just going to lay out the spiky on one side, sew those on first, and then line it up for the fluffy ones. Didn't like that. Alright, I'll have to cut that. Be right back. Sorted it. It just got stuck in the scratchy loops. Right, other side, fluffy side. So I find the best way to mark these is to put the Velcro straps together so they're stuck, and then fold it over onto this side and line it up that way, bearing in mind that's going to wrap around her body. So you have one of the sticky sides actually on the lining side, and then the other matching one on the front side, the fluffy side. So you can see if I just lay it like that, where I want them to start, pop them in, just lift that up, and I'll mark that with my little chalk, my chalk mark. Got a pink chalk thing. Mark them down the sides, and then take them off here and sew them onto my mark points. All I'm doing now is the quickest way to mark where it goes on the coat is to use her dummy coat. What I've used as like a stencil out almost. So I'm just going to duplicate it. That strip is the centre back. So it's going to go exactly the same across the centre back of her coat there. So I'm going to mark that out and then transfer this onto her beautiful new coat. Measured that's about 10.5 inch. So I can do exactly the same from the back. 10.5 inch. Mark that up again, and then I know exactly where a strap's going. Might have to just move it a little bit because of the pocket, but it won't matter too much. And that's where it's going. So I can sew it on. That's her coat done. What I like about this is it's going to be so snug and warm, and particularly now that we know she's got arthritis in her back, the cold is going to, really affect her. So this is lovely and snug for those really cold Yorkshire days. Pockets, strap done, collar, button. Willow's new coat. She said she's not trying it on just yet though. Are you, Will? No. She's having a nap. What you got? What you got on? Oh, is Willow all pretty? Has she got a new coat? Have you? You've got a new coat. Oh, look at you. Look at you all pretty. You pretty girl. And it fits. When it's really cold, you can pull that forward and cover your neck. Oh, snug as a bug. Yeah. You posing now? Yeah. Can't keep it on, it's summer. It's too warm. Very nice, Willow. Very pretty. You posing? You a supermodel? Oh yeah, you a supermodel. Oh, pretty girl. Very pretty girl. Very pleased. Yeah. You're so cute. Far too cute. Come on then, let's take it off. We'll get too warm. Come on, you didn't want to wear it last time. That's it. Good girl. And that concludes this video. So for all those sewing enthusiasts, hope you really enjoyed that. Thanks for watching and for all your comments. See you on Sunday.